Welcome to the Steve Setka Show, your uncensored champion. I'm your host, Steve Setka, and I'm diving deep into the things that matter most to me: sport, freight, and faith. On the show, we're not afraid to go beyond the surface. We get real, share bold opinions, and hit you where it may be uncomfortable. These are the topics I'm passionate about, and I bet they'll spark something in you too. So buckle up for quick, high-impact episodes that'll shake you up. Steve Setka Show, episode 20. We are one episode away from 21. Which is historically and statistically where 95% of podcasts end. So we've made it to 20 episodes here, and we're going to keep going and continue to grow the show. And we have a good one for you today. We're framing this episode with a special guest and a friend of mine with Luke 16, verse 10 to 11, which reads, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. If you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches?" With that being said, welcome to the show, Adam Klassen.
Hello, hello.
A&S Klassen Financial. Ask Klassen Financial. How are you, man? What's going on today?
Dude, well, just enjoying some sunlight now. A little overcast, so it's nice when that sun comes out and puts you in a good mood instantly. I love it.
I love it too. We have summer here in Winnipeg for like 2 months. You got to take advantage of it. Like June, July, August. Adam's a Winnipegger just outside. He's kind of in the country part of, the city of
Yeah,
Winnipeg, just close by. Built a beautiful dream home, 4 kids. Fourth one just came a
that's
couple
right.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Living the life. Tell us a little bit about your journey through, family over the last decade and how it's changed drastically.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, considering I didn't have kids a decade ago and then now I've got 4. Yeah, lots can definitely happen in that amount of time and you get stretched and changed and there's a million ways that your mind can go really. So it's really, really neat to just be on this journey, just follow it and see where we ended up. And I will tell you, if you asked me a decade ago if I was gonna have 4 kids, I would have very much questioned our friendship. But now that I do have 4 kids, it feels right. It was absolutely part of this journey that God had me on, and so my wife and I are super excited. Just 2 months ago now, we added our 4th, and so we had 2 girls, and now we have 2 boys. Yeah, it's pretty incredible to be stretched as much as we are. We don't get a lot of sleep anymore. There's a lot of being awake. You forget a lot of that stuff as the years go. It's kind of wild that you would still forget it's your 4th one, but 2 years in between, you forget a lot of things. And then all of a sudden you're immediately woken up in the middle of the night and you're like, this is what it is. I totally forgot about this. So that's all part of it. It's my own fault. I have 4 kids now and don't sleep, but I have a house full of laughter and kids that are super happy and loving life. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's incredible, man. I love it. I'm so excited. I haven't even seen you since you've had your 4th child, but I've seen the first 3, and it's very busy and it's very exciting. And
Yeah.
I have a baby on the way that's coming very soon in a couple
Yes.
months,
Let's
which is
go.
awesome. We're building the kingdom. We're building the business. We're building the brand. My wife and I have a brand. I know so do you and your
Yeah.
wife, which we'll get into and talk to a
Yeah.
little bit here. We're building the house. We're building God's house, and we're
Go.
building our finances. Okay,
Yes.
which is very exciting, and it's important. And there's a reason I had you on the show, and I don't believe anything happens with people that come together by accident. There's no coincidence. It's
That's
coincidences.
correct.
It's all intentional. God puts people together at the exact right time that they need each other in our lives. So we're going to skip back here to about 6 or 7 years ago. And I want you to fill in our guests on the show about how Adam Klassen and Steve Setka met.
Sure, yeah. That
Before
was,
you had 4 kids.
yeah. So, yeah, that was probably 7 years ago. I don't even think I had Tilly yet.
I don't think so. How old's Tilly?
7, she just turned 7, so
It might have been just
must have been
before
just
that when we
before.
first met.
That's right. Yeah, so I totally agree. God is a God of intentionality, and every person that comes across your path, there's a reason for it, and some a little more substantial than others. But yeah, it was really neat. I'm working for my family at a company, and we had been using different shipping companies and that. And then all of a sudden, Steve Setka walks in the door, and we had never met before that. And you're just door knocking. And you said, that you're just looking to see if you could help us out with some shipping. And I didn't see a problem with at least entertaining the thought of it and the conversation. And I really saw it as an opportunity to not just to grow our business, like the family business there, but I really believed that maybe this is an opportunity to grow a relationship with someone personally. Because up to that point, I mean, you're dealing with FedEx or UPS or all these shipping companies, and you never actually meet anybody. You don't talk to anybody personally, not very often at least. But to have somebody walk in your door and say, "I want to help you. I want to make life easier on you." You have to, as a business owner or someone that's in the business world, you have to see that as an opportunity of, okay, there's a reason he's here right now. This is an opportunity to help us get to the next level, and the company Shift Products, they needed something to help get us to that next level. And I really believe you're a big step in that direction for us. And I'm no longer with them as a company. I don't work with a family. I bless them, and it was just we parted ways. I absolutely feel that that time when we met, that was an amazing moment, and we have had a relationship ever since.
Incredible. I could not agree more. It was about 7 years ago. You're right. And I tell people the story. You were customer number 16, and that's the longest standing customer that we still have, because the first 10 were house accounts, and we had some nobodies before that that didn't ever
Right.
really. And it was our first true shipping customer right at the start of our business and the outset of our business. And they're still an active shipping customer of InExpress, which is fantastic.
So
And that
great.
company and that business has provided me and our family, which is also a family company, as you know, a lifestyle, which is incredible. And
Right.
that led to a lot of different things. You never necessarily think when you're starting off that you're going to become good friends with someone that you are a vendor for, or that
Right.
you're customer of their business, which is incredible. But, coincidences don't happen, intentionality occurs. And I believe that. And that's exactly what God did for us. So here we are, 7 years later. You're about, what, 2 or 3 or 4 years into your new business as a
Yep.
financial advisor, investment provider for people, building wealth, building and investing in their financial futures. But you know what I said before the show, Adam? I don't believe the internet needs another show with just some financial advisor or someone
Yes.
providing advice on what you need to do with your money. Everybody knows what they need to do. People aren't necessarily doing it. But what I want to talk to you about specifically when it comes to money and building wealth is how you integrate your faith life into your business, which guides and leads you towards building success with your customers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's your everyday walk. Like it can't be separate. It can't be a separation of how you live your life and how you do business. It has to be the same thing. Just like you said, like, yeah, you meet somebody that's going to be that guide that's going to help you get to that next level. And you have to, if you're not being guided by something bigger and more than yourself, you're going to really struggle. You're going to be constantly trying to figure it out yourself, as opposed to you have this guide that is he's always a step ahead of you, and he's always encouraging you, and he's always there waiting for you to catch up, kind of thing. You're always like, you're not sitting back. You can't sit back. You have to be guided. You have to be like moving forward. And as a business owner, if I just sat back and I wasn't being led, I wasn't using God as a tool to help get me to that next level and relying on him, leaning on him, I'd be sitting back and nobody would want to deal with me. Why would anyone think I'm any different than the next guy? They'll just deal with the bank, then they'll just walk into financial institutions and be like, here's my money, you can do whatever you want with it, as opposed to being guided in my own personal life to get me to the stages that I'm at in my own life. It's a huge encouragement for many of my clients to see that, and to know confidently that I am the guy that they want to bring them to that next level. And so that's a huge part of it for us. My wife and I, we work together. I've only been in it for 3 years now, but my wife's been in it for 15 years. She took over for her dad, who was in it for 53 years. So, I mean, we have a lot of financial like backing. We've been in this a long, long time. Being married to Sarah, we're going on to our 16th year of marriage here. And so it's an incredible journey to have been a part of it, but now to finally be in it with her. it was a massive moment, and God definitely guided that. It had to be the right season, it had to be the right moment, and then finally God's like, hey, time to work together and time to build your own empire. You've done it enough with other people's businesses and their empires, so time to do it with your own.
That's incredible. I love that. It's a testament to true faith and putting your
Yeah,
eggs in the basket that's scary, that it's fearful. You don't necessarily know how well it's going to go. I've
yeah.
never worked with my wife or a
No,
partner per se, but I've worked with my father and I've worked with my sister. And I tell people all the time, it's one of the most beautiful situations that I've created in my life, but it's also one of the most challenging. But
yes,
I wouldn't trade it for the world. And it's
no,
incredible. And you're doing something to help people create financial responsibility. Like money management is a test of spiritual responsibility. And I find when you're working with, which we don't, full disclosure, Adam and I work together in finances at all, but it's a testament to how spiritually responsible you can be with what you have, with what you're aspiring to create abundance with
right,
and prosperity, right? Because money is a tool, money is necessary, and money is required in order to live. We're the only species on earth created beautifully, intentionally, in the name, image, and likeness of God that it has to pay to live here, right?
right.
Animals don't have to do that. Humans have the blessing in order to do that. So it's an incredible responsibility. And I don't believe that much can be done without the Lord, without spirit. And I think that's faith in Jesus Christ and being God fearing is actually a great differentiator in business, because I find it actually quite rare that you hear people talking about the Holy Spirit, about the Father and the Son in business. It's more common, I would say, now, but I never heard it growing up or at the start of my journey at all, because I think people are fearful that religion is some sort of nuanced taboo thing these days, and it pushes people away. But another person that we have in common that I met through you is your uncle, Larry Dick, who owns a trucking company as well. And he is
Yeah,
the last one who would shy away from talking about his faith when it comes to business, which
very
is
true.
incredible. And look at how successful he's become in his life and how much he's been able to serve the world by
Yeah,
serving God, which is incredible. So
yeah.
I'm very excited about utilizing that power in my business. What sort of strategies do you use for your clients, and how do you build faith into that, whether someone is a believer in Jesus or not?
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you mentioned my uncle there. I mean, the amount of integrity that that man carries, it's a wild thing to even look back and see all the moments in the journey of that company that he owns. My grandpa started, he took it over, and just to see um yeah, all these moments where he had to make a decision like, do I stick to my integrity, do I stick to my values, do I stick to my faith and my beliefs here, or do I sway a little left, little right? Personally, from watching him, you just see that he is blessed beyond everything. Like it's so cool to see how God has just blessed him for all his decisions, all that integrity, walking the walk that he's taken. God is all over it every step of the way. And it's really encouraging to see that, like what an example that I got to have from him my whole life, to watch that and to take that into my own business and know that that's what I want for my family. And I want to make sure that there isn't room for any mistakes, or there isn't room to even like have your mind sway the wrong way, that you would even consider doing something shady or doing any kind of business that wouldn't bring glory to God. And so with my clients, I mean, I don't necessarily need to talk about God with them, but I need to be an example, right? Like that's what God calls us to be, is be an example, be like Jesus, be as much like God as you can. And you don't even need to say anything. He just shines right through you. It's the most beautiful thing ever. You don't need to rub it in someone's face. They'll see it right on you. They'll walk into your home, or they'll meet you for coffee or dinner, and they feel it the minute they meet you. An amazing thing. As long as God's in the forefront in every part of your life, he makes sure that everyone notices. Like, I don't need to make God shine brighter. I mean, that's like, let my light shine, sure, but God's going to do it through you. It's an amazing thing, but it takes all the pressure off when God's the one doing it, right? Like, all you have to be is an example, and God does the work.
You're so right, Adam. And you've
Like,
told me a lot about your story throughout your youth, growing up in your family and in your mind, and how he touched your life, right? And I feel
yeah,
like you're one of those shining examples of people that 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 others want to look up to, with exactly what you said. My perspective on faith specifically, I don't talk a lot about religion, but I talk about faith, is that you want to live it. You don't necessarily want to just talk about it, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you want to be able to reach people who are believers. You want to be able to reach people who are not believers, who are skeptical, those who are struggling, those who have gone through hard times, or those who are thriving, right? You want to be able to write to everyone. I'm reading a great book right now called Take Your Job Back, which was a guy who was preaching. The author was a fellow who was preaching at our church, Springs Church, that I attend, a couple months ago, about bringing ourselves back to the truthful kingdom of what Jesus was trying to portray. And the history around Christianity in general and Christendom per se has been empires, kingdoms, people, the hubris of man taking what Jesus said and spinning it into their own favor, which changes the way that people see religion or faith. We have over 4,000 religions in the world. We have 45,000 denominations of Christianity. Yet we're all supposed to be preaching the same message. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. So I love hanging out with the people who live it rather than just talk about it, because we all know people that just talk about it in freight, in money, in finance, in business, in whatever, and they're not living it. So being a different example of what you want to show in the world is a huge benefit to the way the world operates.
Yeah, it's an authenticity, right? You've met plenty of people, you've watched enough podcasts. We all know social media has so much fake, just like people living lives separate from their actual life, and they're saying all this stuff. How many life coaches are there? I think there's probably a couple thousand too many, but there's all these people that are experts, like quote unquote experts, right? And if they're not actually living it, I'm not going to talk to them. I won't receive what they're saying as authentic. I'm going to be able to read and see straight through that really, really quickly. And so if I'm not that for my clients, if they walk into, I'm living in a basement suite with 4 kids and my wife, and we're sharing one basement bedroom, are people going to come to me for financial advice? Are they going to believe me that I know what to do with your finances? I mean, we're all on a journey, but I better be walking this life of God's like fruit shown through my life. I'm not going to go to a gym where the instructor himself is not living the lifestyle that I need to get into shape or be in a better place in my own life. So it's all part of it. God looks for that authentic heart. He wants us to have him shining through us everywhere we go, as opposed to, I'm going to tell you how much Jesus loves you, but you're not going to be able to tell he loves me at all. So
I
it's
hear
all
you.
about authenticity. It's a massive, massive thing.
Never take advice from someone who is not living the life that you want to live, right? You're right. Like
That's
you say, the fitness coach who is fat per se,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's it.
We're authentic. We're uncensored and we're bold, and sometimes we say controversial things on the show, and that's
Yeah,
part of what we're doing in the brand here. And don't take financial advice from someone who has no money themselves. And
that's right.
you don't want to listen
Exactly.
to someone like in your past who you're a musician. You'd never listen to somebody who feels like they're musically inclined but can't hold
That's
a
right.
tune or can't
Yeah, that's
play
right.
a beautiful, wonderful instrument, right? So
That's
it's
right.
all part of the game for sure.
Yeah.
One thing I do when I go on these shows, sometimes I cheat a little bit, Adam. I go on ChatGPT and I look at some ideas of what to talk about via faith. And there's some interesting things that came up today. It says, you want abundance, you want financial prosperity, cool. But here's the deal: God's watching how you handle what you already have. The credit card, the paycheck, that small business. If you're sloppy with the small, why would heaven trust you with the big?
Yeah.
This isn't just about money. It's about stewardship. It's a test. You show up, stay disciplined, and crush it with what's in your hand. Then the doors open. So it's an incredible responsibility that we have in business. And I wrote something down on my notepad. How you do one thing is typically how you do everything. I had this conversation in Toronto last week with a business owner that I was connected with. And I said that exact phrase, and he said, that's exactly right. If you want to aspire for greatness or excellence, you better be excellent in every area of your life. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect, because we're not perfect. But if you want a great business, you got to also aspire for a great relationship, have a
Yeah.
great spouse and a great marriage, be a great dad, be the example in the world, be fit, be
Yeah.
healthy, mentally strong,
Yeah.
physically and spiritually strong, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. Does that resonate with you?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. There's
How are you showing up in other areas of your life that people see that spilling into you as a professional?
yeah, like that's a massive part of it. Like maybe I didn't have the example of the parent I wanted to, like the parent I want to be might be different than what I've been shown. And so I need to be the best example of that in every area of my life. So what is it that you would want for your kids, or what would you want in your business or your family? Like what, like as a kid, what did I aspire or want out of my parents? And so you got to put yourself in that position. What do you think my kids want? Do they want me to be just working all the time, or do they want me to be involved and part of their lives and be that example to them? Massive thing is, how do I want my daughters to think a father or a husband is supposed to be like? That's a massive part of it. I want to make sure my daughters see me treating my wife how they should be treated as well. So every part of your life is massive. I gotta love my wife. I have to show affection. I have to make sure that my kids see that and that that's the normal for them. And so anything they get subpar, they don't want it. They don't want any piece of that. It's the same, yeah, in my business. Yeah, like we were saying with the gym thing or the house thing, like I want to have this home full of love so that when somebody walks in here that they feel welcome, that they feel a part of my family, and that it's, I don't know, that it's a beautiful thing to even be welcomed into my life and be a part of my life and be accepted into my world. It's a place that is quite sacred, and I have to protect that. And so anyone that's welcomed in, they better feel that love, right? If otherwise, I'm not doing my job right. Otherwise, I'm not showing the love of Jesus like I want to be feeling. Like I want that feeling, so I want other people to feel that when they're around me. So in my business, in my family, any people we come in contact with, I better be the best example of Jesus that I can.
That's incredible, man. You're an inspiration in my life, and that's exactly why we have you on the show. That's why we're friends. You're walking the walk, not just talking the talk, and I can see it, and I understand where you're coming from. So let's get into the nuts and bolts here briefly about your business. So someone
Sure.
has a bit of cash, or maybe they have no cash, right? They want to invest, they see the value in their future. Maybe they don't. Like when I was a young adult, I did not see it. I did not understand. I was living in the now for in the future, right? So
Yeah.
maybe they do see it, maybe they don't. But at some point, they understand I'm going to need to put an investment plan in place so that I can build our kingdom, build the kingdom going forward. And you have a certain structure of funds, you have investment products that help people grow, that are
Right.
protected, that are somewhat safe, that are somewhat risky, and you help them grow their financial wealth. Take us through that process in a couple minutes, how you take them from, I know absolutely nothing about the financial world, to 10 years later, 20 years later, I have a bit of a nest egg. Adam Klassen helped me get there.
No, man, that's I mean, obviously, it all comes from relationship and conversation. So if someone doesn't trust me, they're not going to deal with me. So the first step is just get to know the person, and they can get to know me and see how I do things. Something nice with me coming in the industry a little later and being 40 now, it's it's, it's very interesting to come into it now at this stage of life because I didn't grow up with it. I'm a Clausen, so the Mennonite side, it's all about just save your money, don't spend it. That's all I was taught. I don't know if you were taught any different as a kid, but that's
Pretty
basically
similar.
it. Save your receipts and don't spend your money. That was it. Put it in a savings account at the bank.
Which
And
doesn't really create abundance, right, Adam?
not
Because
at
let me
all.
just project here. Money is energy, right? And
Right.
spending money blessing other people on their services, which can return incredibly in your own life. Am I right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's all part of it. Now coming into it and being married to Sarah, obviously I've been around learning about investing and how this system works in our Canadian with our Canadian government and our banking system. And so I've been around it long enough to know that there are lots of not tricks, but there's a lot of just tools that we have access to in our country that we can use to help save money for the future. So investing is a big part of that. And so Sarah and I both, we do investing, we do life insurance, like we deal with everything basically as private brokers. So we personally can deal with any and all companies in the country basically. So if you have a favorite, if you don't, we have our favorites that we deal with that have amazing track records and history. And that's everything that we go off of. It's all stats, it's all history, it's all looking at numbers. You can really predict a lot of it. There's obviously lots of ups and downs and moments that can't be fully predicted, but we know every election cycle there's going to be chaos, there's going to be volatility, and people are going to go wild and crazy. And like you said, money is energy. And so people work off of emotions. And so if you're talking about money and they're about to lose money or gain money, they're going to be thinking emotionally. Sometimes their hearts get very involved. And so for the amount of clients that my wife and I have that we have to either talk off bridges or continue to just like, nope, this is good. This is normal. This is what the market does. Just give it a week or give it some time. And all of our investing is long term. We don't do short term investing. I'm not a day trader, a stockbroker, but we deal in the stock market. So we do deal with stocks, but we do it in different kind of funds than the bank necessarily does. And so a lot of it is pooled funds. So your money is going into many stocks as opposed to just one individual stock, which means when there's ups and downs in, say, Tesla is going, like we just saw some crazy Tesla numbers going down. Well, Tesla is just part of this group of stocks. So yeah, Tesla dropped, but there's all these other stocks that are within that pooled fund, which means your money is still growing. There's no big drops. So last year, people made a ton of money. Markets were amazing. People were loving it. And then an election happens. Every 4 years, same thing happens. An election happens and the market either tanks or it gets very volatile and moves. And so whether you love Trump or not, he's making the market swing. If it was Biden, well, guess what? 4 years ago, the same thing happened when Biden came in. The market swings. It doesn't matter who it is. Historically, Republicans come in and the market comes back and comes back bigger than any Democrat. It's just historical numbers, right? It's nothing. I'm not making this up. Just
Yeah.
you can pick your favorite party. It doesn't matter. So it is just one of those things. So people have to realize you're still investing money. It's just a lot safer route to invest that money. And it's still growing like crazy. Clients are making 20+% last year. And then this year Trump gets elected and then you're dropping into single digits now. Give it time and then you're back up to double digits. So
Well,
it's somebody that
inflation is
comes in.
typically, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah. Typically, someone that's coming into that doesn't know anything. It's just educating them. This is just the stock market is very much a game. It is very much just a place where people throw their money sometimes. That if you have money to gamble, sure, go buy individual stocks. But I have a family to feed and I have investment goals. So when I want to retire or even before I retire, I want to have a lot of money saved up and I want my money working for me and growing for me. And so the only way it does that is if you're investing it and not leaving it in the bank. The bank is really good, or financial
Yeah.
institutes are really good at taking your money, making money for themselves, and then giving you the crumbs back. That is what they do.
Yeah.
And they're really good at it. They're a business, right? They need to make
Yeah.
money too. And so just get ready to not make a lot of money for yourself and you're gonna be helping them make a lot of money. So
I
any
hear you.
opportunity you have to get your money out of the bank, I highly recommend it. Obviously, the banks are needed though. If you're buying a home or anything like that, you're gonna need a mortgage, and that's not something I deal with. But there's definitely lots of alternatives to dealing with banks.
That's fantastic, man. I love that. I love what you do. We're blessing the people. We're blessing, yourself when we're giving you our money. You don't necessarily go and deal with your own customs brokerage. You don't cut down your own trees. You're not wiring and creating electricity in your own house. You're giving that work away to somebody else, blessing their family so that they can return a service to you. We
Right.
have professionals all over the world that do specific type of work as a professional for this exact reason. It's a funny thing that people look at financial advisors and they say, "Oh, you make money off of my money?" Well, yeah, this is a job, just like you have a job or a business or anything as
Yeah.
well too. We need to also do what we do very well, and we know that here at the show that you guys work very hard. I don't have any of my money in the bank. I have it in funds and similar things that you guys provide, which is necessary. So every time I talk with my financial guy, I say, "Hey, what about this? What about that?" And he said, "You trust me?" I don't even know why I question you or question
Yes.
people in
Yeah.
finance, because you give away a percentage or two
in order to return you, like you said, 8 to 12% or 20% on a good year, 6% on a bad year, which is much better than inflation. So you need your money working for
That's
you
right.
because
Yeah.
the dollar is only getting weaker, which is very interesting. I believe in set it and forget it. Bless the people that are making you money. They're
Correct.
making a little bit on what
Yeah.
you're making, but I don't know money enough in order to know what you know. So I pay you in order to manage my money, which is interesting. You got to
Yeah.
play the long game.
Yeah.
And the reason
Yeah.
for that, what you're saying, I believe, is that generally speaking, in Canada, let's talk about Canada, US as well, too. Obviously, a big player. We're talking Canada, US here. Financial literacy is poor here. I am confident when I say we learn next to nothing, 13 years of grade school in this country. It makes zero sense. You make money, you need to know how to handle it in management. A lot of people are in very bad shape because they don't understand that. You sleep
Yeah.
8 hours a day, which is a third of your life, yet we spend zero time on education. It makes no sense. If we were here to sit down and break down the education system based on if we believe in it or not, we would be here for far too long. But
Yes.
money is one of those things. You need to play the long game. You set it and forget it. You need to educate yourself. So I love that you brought that up. One of the big things we like to do on the show, Adam, is help people build their brands. We want to promote A&S Klassen Financial. If somebody wants to work with you, how do they get in touch? Where do they follow you? Where do you spend your time?
Yeah. Very simply, like we do all this social media platforms because you have to. If you're not, you're really missing out on a lot of business and a lot of connecting with people of all different ages. So yeah, asclawson.ca is our website. And then there's links off of that for all of our social media platforms, but it's very easy to find us. AS Clausen on Instagram, on what else? X, Facebook,
LinkedIn?
TikTok, LinkedIn. Yeah, you can find our companies on LinkedIn, and then Sarah and I, we both have our own personal ones on there, as well as Instagram as well. We both post both through our business, but then for our own personal stuff. It's very, very easy to find us, Adam and Sarah Clausen. Something super quick on, like you're saying, you got to pay out your advisors, and that I something I found coming into the industry is how much people don't know and how much we're not taught. Just like you said, in Canada, we are not taught anything. And I'm learning that more and more. Like you're meeting these business owners and they don't know how they could have saved millions of dollars in taxes over the years. And it's as simple as asking questions, but so many of them have just continued the process that they were taught through school, which is next to nothing. And you learn as you go. And so I'm just finding so many people, they're out for themselves. They make sure that they take care of themselves first before they go to help other people. And so for myself, I ask so many questions. I make sure my clients are asking a million questions that they know, because I want to educate my clients. I want to make sure my clients know everything that I know about a subject. Otherwise, they're just asking questions. And then in 10 years, they're asking me, well, why did we do this? Or why are we doing that with my money? To have to educate them at that point is always harder. So it's better to do it right up front and make sure that your clients and your people know as much as possible. And I don't get paid by my clients. I get paid by the companies that I deal with. So that's another thing that a lot of people don't know. It's not like you're paying me personally just to meet with me and talk with me. My wife and I, we meet with many people for nothing, and we have many conversations with people and teach a lot of people a lot of stuff. And it doesn't cost you a thing. So we love it. We love educating people. We love educating kids. Like you said, the school system teaches nothing. So our favorite thing is we're teaching our kids to be entrepreneurs right now. So they're starting a company right now. And so we're teaching them all the ins and outs. I mean, my oldest is 7, but that doesn't mean she can't learn how a business operates. I mean, people do lemonade
Pillows, right?
stands. Pillows,
You're
that's
making
right. Yeah.
pillows, something like that? Yeah. Yeah. I know a little bit about
Tilly and
that. Very
Scotty.
exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tilly and
Well,
Scotty
that's
have
awesome.
their own pillow brand. So we're gonna teach them, how do you build this up? How do you market it? How do you talk to people about this? I mean, half their school classroom are all sleeping on their pillows now, which is hilarious. So, but it's all part of it. Like if they're not taught, outside us. If they're not taught in school, they need to learn it elsewhere. So that's Sarah and I, it's very much on our hearts to educate as many people as possible. So we're meeting with kids, with the youth, to teach them this is how businesses work. This is how the money works in this country. And this is how the government takes advantage of you and takes all of your money. This is how you can keep as much in your pocket as possible so that you're not getting taken advantage of by the government in this country, because there's plenty of money going in directions it shouldn't. So you should be in control of your own money as much as possible.
Money is twisted in so many different ways. It can be the root of all evil, but it can also be a tool for so much greatness, which is
Yeah,
crazy. It's
that's right.
such a fascinating concept. I grew up with two parents working in the industry and wanted nothing to do with it
Yeah,
until it became so important that I had to figure it out and learn it on my own, which was a hard lesson. It was
yeah,
fantastic. We put a whole podcast show on that. We're not going to get into it, but I want to put my own spin on this verse that we started the show with. Okay.
yeah.
Adam and Sarah Klassen can be trusted with very little because they have had very little in their life. I know that. Therefore, they can also be trusted with much. Adam and Sarah have not been trustworthy in handling wealth all the time, but now they can. So you can trust them with their true riches. I don't know if that came out properly, but I wanted to spin the verse that we had back into wrapping up this episode. This has been a wonderful conversation. Freight,
Absolutely.
faith, sport, and money. We interjected with something new this week on the Steve Setka Show. Adam, thank you very much for showing up on the show and showing
Yeah,
up
man.
in your life. Now let's go kill it and keep
That's
doing
right.
God's.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always humbled and such an honor to get to come on your show and chat, and that God's taking me on a journey that's actually interesting enough that people would want to hear about.
Love it. Well, thanks, man. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Can't wait.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. I hope you found value in what we shared and that you'll take it with you to positively impact the world around you. If so, we'd love for you to take a moment to rate, review, and share the show, because we're on a mission to grow and reach more hearts. Prayers, gratitude, and love. Until next time.